Asynchronous programming is about managing tasks that take some time to complete. Say we want to fetch data from an API, or we want to read a file, or we want to wait for a timer, and we don't want to freeze our entire application. Now, there are approaches to performing asynchronous programming in JavaScript. One of these approaches is callbacks. Now, a callback is simply a function that is passed as an argument into another function to be executed after the asynchronous task finishes. Now, imagine a scenario where you go to the bank to perform some transactions. So maybe you met a queue at the bank. Okay. Now, you give the bank people your name. Say you don't want to stand there at the queue. You give the bank people your name. You tell them the transaction you want to perform, and then you go take a seat. So you can think of the name you give or the details you give the bank people as the callback. So when they're done, when they check out the details you give them and it's your turn, maybe they call you and then you come and then you finish whatever you went to the bank to do. So that's just a dry example of callbacks. Okay, now let's go back to our Visual Studio Code. We have this in our script.js. Now we have this program. On line 1, we have this console.log statements. Line 5, we have this function fetch user. It takes 2 parameters, user ID, then callback. Then we're logging this information, and then we have the set timeout function here. Inside the set timeout, we have an object user, and then we're calling this callback inside our set timeout. Our delay period is 2 seconds. And then here we're invoking this fetch user function. We're passing our user ID, our value here, that's the data it's expecting. And then for the callback, okay, we pass an anonymous function here, which represents our callback. When we call our callback here, we pass in this user object here. So you can think of this user data as this user object. So in here we have this console.log data received successfully, and then we're accessing the properties of our user object here. We are accessing username, and then the type inside here, and then on line 23 we have console.log program ends. Now this program runs top down. Whenever JavaScript encounters any asynchronous code, we talked about this, about the event loop. So JavaScript pushes the asynchronous program into the background away from the main thread. And then when the main thread completes, then it goes into the task queue to fetch the next task, then pushes it to the cause stack, like so. So we expect this to run first. After this run, we fetch, this function is invoked, okay? So this console.log statement get executed, and then the set timeout method, okay? So we expect this to run, and then the data received. So this set timeout is going to execute it last. So we have set 1, console.log this, then this, and then before. Okay, let's see what we have. I'm talking too much. So we have program starts. That's the line 1. Fetching user from database. So that's the function here. Fetching user from database. The function is executed. This before we get to the asynchronous code here. Okay. And then this, which is also synchronous, it gets executed, which is program ends. And then when we enter into the set timer, we've not even gotten the set timeout yet, because we're inside. When we invoke fetch user, we said console.log data received successfully. This code doesn't run until the set timeout run is executed, because the callback have to be executed first inside the set timeout. And inside our callback, we have this user object, so we are accessing the properties of our user object here. So that's why this executed last. So it's a welcome back, which is the console.log statement that we have here. So welcome back Ola, your account type is premium, so we're getting the username and the account type inside our user object that we're passing into our callback. So you get this analogy. Now we could run into a situation where we have nested callbacks. So when we enter into nested callbacks, we call that callback hell. Okay, I'm not going to talk about that anyway, because I was going to say, well, before now, the only way we could execute, we could perform asynchronous programming is through callbacks, but there's no need to get into that. So let's look at what we have here. Now we have see this function login user, 3 parameters. It takes the callback as the last parameter, and then we have the set timeout. Inside the callback of the set timeout, we are calling our callback. Then we are passing this object here, and then our delay time is 1 second. Okay, we have another function here. It also takes user ID callback, and this one is expecting an array, the delay period. This third callback, this third function, it also takes callback like so. This fourth function, okay. Now look at this scenario where we are calling this login user, and then we are passing an anonymous function as our callback here. Of course, we have to pass because this login user is expecting email and password. So we are passing the value of those parameters here, and then we're passing this callback function. Now we have this login, okay? And now remember, login user is expecting callback. Each of the function is expecting a callback. So what is happening here is we're nesting for each of the function. The callback is passed as, so look at login user, it's expecting a callback, and now we're using get user playlist as that callback. So when we get into get user playlist, it's also expecting a callback. We are passing get song details as the callback that is expecting. When we get there, we pass the next callback again. So it's nested. So this is not. So this is not. It's not a proper way to manage our program. Okay. So, but it's still going to run anyway. So let me go back to index.html, and then I'm going to pass. What is it called? Instead of script.js, I'm going to pass async.js. Async.js, and I'm going to save, and then let's go to our console. So you see it's still running. Say logged in user, this fetch playlist. So we fetch all this playlist, which is the second function, which is used as what is it? So this user playlist. So this playlist is used as the callback of this first login user function here. So it's a fetch playlist, and then inside this get user playlist is expecting a callback as well, and then the get song details is used as the callback that this expects, and then inside get song details, the callback that it expects, we're using get similar artists as that callback, and it just keeps nesting like that. See, it's not an ideal way to manage our program. So to make take care of these, we're going to use promises. Okay, after promises, there's also a more elegant way we can handle asynchronous programming, which is async await and the likes. So we're going to be getting into that in subsequent tutorials. So bye for now.